On this video, I'm just going to explain about the Cisco UCS Director support for Cisco ACI Multi Site. And about Cisco ACI Multi Site, I've just explained about the previous multi site intro. And this is just about what are the features ACI Multi Site has, which has been supported by Cisco UCS Director. So I'll just briefly go through about Cisco UCS Director quickly and then the Cisco ACI Multi-Site. Then you can just look at the basics of some of the features and how the automation works, all that about UCS Director and what it's used to the ACI Multi-Site. Okay, so let's quickly go through the Cisco UCS Director. So Cisco UCS Director is nothing but automation orchestration tool which works most of the on-prem or the private cloud vendor devices, like starting from virtualization, networks, compute, storage, all that, such as VMware, Hyper-V, and you name on the blade of the UCS or HP. Then you take care of the network devices like Cisco Nexus plus the MDS. Then you have other like the L4, L7 devices such as FI, all that, plus the storage part. It supports VNX as well as NetApp or other storage as well, and it has a open framework where customers can still go ahead and use it for any support later point of time uses the open automation tool, and they can automate and quickly deploy based on the customer need. Okay, that is about the quick thing about. And you can find more information where about UCS Director here on the site, or more about the UCS Director. And here this is where if you just Google it, and you'll just find about UCS Director, where it gives a lot more information, and you can just have a look and get to know about it. Plus then let's go and see about the Cisco ACI Multi-Site. As we know, Cisco ACI Multi-Site is the latest management controller for to communicate with the Cisco Epic controller, where which was already discussed in the previous intro. So don't need to much go about it. And this is just quick view about the multi-site. This nothing but the right now it's just virtualization machine where you can use it and attach. You can communicate to the Cisco Epic controller, which is there on the each sites, and you can push the configure based on the design, based on the customer need or use case, all that. Okay, now let's quickly go through what is the next, what content is going to cover. So what we just talked about is about the UCS Delta and Cisco ACI Multi-Site, and if you need more information, please provide a comment so that we can I'll just work on this and give a latest update. And next what this current demo just for the just going to explain what version I've used for this UCS Director as well as the ACI Multi-Site, and what are the prerequisites to just understand about this demo. And I'll just explain how would you add the Cisco ACI Multi-Site into the UCS Director, and I'll just walk you through some of the tasks, and nothing but this is just but the task which UCS Director supports, and which I'll just briefly explain you what are the tasks it right now it has it. Plus I'll just quickly go through the basic use case which we can use from UCS Director in order to automate the Cisco ACI Multi-Site. And last but not least, the verification, which will just verify from the ACI Multi-Site as well. Okay, so I don't take much time. I'll just quickly go through this demo, so it doesn't take much time to understand, but people you just have hands-on will you grasp and go on with that. And this is the current version I'm using it. So Cisco UCS Director 6.6, which is in out to market just a few weeks back. And this is the Cisco ACI Multi-Site. This is the version I'm using right now. And you can get more information on this web link, where you can about what are the supported firmware versions, all that compatibility matrix, all this will get it from here. Okay, so the prerequisite of this demo is nothing but we make sure that Cisco UCS Director is OVA file which has been deployed on the vCenter, and it is up and running where you are able to access the web GUI. And next is the Cisco ACI Multi-Site, that is even it is deployed on the vCenter itself, and whether you make sure that it's able to access the web GUI of the multi-site as well. Okay, and sites are added to the ACI multi-site, and but I'm not just going to go through each the controller and just verification to the controller, all that, because I'm just going through only the multi-site where we make sure that configuration is deployed, but we are not going and checking whether that the deployment is done on each of the site level. Okay, so most of the time when you see as a deployment on the multi-site, if a deployment is done, you'll get a proper highlight, or if it is failed, it will show the proper error message. So we'll just restrict ourselves from the support of understanding in terms of Cisco UCS Director plus the ACI multi-site. Okay, and and this is what I'm just going to explain a basic use case, and before that I'll just explain you about how do you log into the UCS Director and how to add a multi-site account into the UCS Director, and how to create all these task workflows. It's called as a workflow. When you put all these tasks, it's called a workflow, and you can create a design of this on UCS Director, and then you can deploy it, and we can do a verification as well as once the resource utilization is done, or we have done with the configuration, or if you want to do a rollback to the previous state, and you can do as well from the UCS Director. So we'll just quickly go log into this appliance, and we'll just have a look, and then we'll come back to this basic use case, and I'll just try to show you up on the UCS Director, and then we can verify on the ACI multi-site. Okay, so quickly let's go through. Make sure that first let me log into the ACI multi-site, and the credentials. So once you log into this, you will see the topology. This is the latest view, which they have come up with the latest versions as well, and where you can see the health stats, all that. Okay, and here when you go to sites, I have added two sites. One is the San Jose, another is the San Francisco, and next is the schema. And schema is this, as people are working multi-site, they'll be aware of this, and there are few tenants which are already available. Okay, so let's go to the login screen of UCS Director, where we log in with the credentials. So once you log in, you will get the default dashboard, where you can I'll just show you some of the basic thing what it supports other than the ACI multi-site. So the sites as well, we can add it. The sites can be added previously as well, but for the priority of the ID, all that, for that reason I've added it manually. Okay, and so we'll just wait for that to log in. So then I'll just show you some of the basic topology what my Cisco UCS Director provides. Okay, and what you see is the Cisco UCS Director. This is called the converged view, and you can see the pod and what are the supported vendors, all that. Okay, so this supports vCenter. You can see the UCS Amata. These are all the accounts added into UCS Director before, and you can see the Nexus 9K, ASA, Brocade, N7K, plus the other device types. You see the F5, and you can see a lot of other devices as well. It supports Cisco Epic as well, and the latest release has a support of Cisco ACI multi-site. So if you just go to the administration physical accounts, you have different tabs where you can add support of each device. Okay, so here the based on the pod, how well, for example, if you say a flex pod kind of a converged view, or the vBlock, you can create a pod and you can attach the devices which are there on those kind of devices on your pod. So we'll quickly go. This is a physical account where we add all the physical devices such as UCS storage, all that. Plus the manage network element is used for adding the network devices as well. So you see all the network devices added here. Let's quickly go to the multi-domain manager, where the support of Cisco ACI multi-site is provided right now. And this is the Epic controller which is already added before. Okay, so if you just see, like I'm just not going to go and add it right now, but you can just add as well here. But I'll just show the edit option and try to explain, so that you don't have to wait much time to just type all that information as well. Okay, so you just give the account type is ACI multi-site where to be chosen, and where once you add it, you will get this option here as well, ACI multi-site. Okay, so once you add it, you will be able to see give the account name, all this information. That's where you will I showed you on the edit page. So you created the ACI multi-site and you created the description. You just give an description and which pod it wants to be, and give the IP address, credentials, and since it works on the HTTPS, use the HTTPS and rest of the information. So, okay, so once you submit here, the device will be added onto the UCS director, and there will be inventory which has triggered. And when you log into the, if you go navigate to the physical, if you go to the network, and you can see the ACI multi-site, okay, account. So when you click on the account, you can see all the information related to the summary of ACI multi-site. You will know about the all the infra configuration on this on the summary page, and you can see the site what are all added here. Plus you all have the other information like tenant, you know, how many tenants exist, then you have the users, then you have the schema, and if you drill down to the schema, you can have all the other information as well. Okay, and you can keep drilling into that and you can find all the other information as well. And this is nothing but the infra configuration where you have it, plus the schema template which is associated to the tenant. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the orchestration which we are going to look at how easy to do from Cisco UCSD. And Cisco UCSD support as well as the northbound API where people can yeah, consume the APIs, send the request, and the UCS director responds it with the correct information if because it sits in between of the end device and the top level, and it gives them, since when you access to the API, it sends a request, gets the request, send it to the devices, get back and respond back. Okay, and this is the orchestration screen which most of the users will be playing around with this. Okay, so here if you see the based on the number of device all that supports us, will be multiple fold structure where you can use it. I'm just going to go through the basic use case what we talked about here. Okay, so consider this create tenant, create schema, add VRF. This we'll be doing if you want to do from the Cisco ACI multi-site. You just have to log into the multi-site and you have to go to the login and you have to do a add tenant and give the information. Then you come here and you go to the schema. Next is the schema creation where you create schema, add VRF, all that, right? So here you have to do a add schema, then give the schema name, then you go to the template, give the if you want to change, then if you want to add a tenant to this, you select a tenant, then you have to have consider you need to add an application profile, you create all this manually. Okay, so using the same way we can use UCS director to automate this by using the task. Okay, so if you look at this on the side plane available tasks, you see the ACI multi-site task. Okay, so if you just expand it, you'll get to know about a lot of other tasks which supports. See, now this is the application profile operations like add application profile, all that. When you look at the bridge domain operations, you can see all the tasks which is needed for the bridge domain. Okay, add bridge domain, add L3 out, all this, add subnet to the bridge domain, all that. So there are a lot of tasks. One thing on the bridge domain, you have a contract, add contract, delete contract, you have EPG operations like add EPG to application profile. Okay, add subnet, you can do add domain to EPG. Then you have external EPG operation as well. Then you have filter, you have import operations where you do import from one site and export to the other one. And you have a schema operation where create schema. You have site operation as well where you can add a site and you can create all the infra configurations, all that is available here. Okay, and you can see the template site, tenant operation, user op. These are the right now tasks you have. So this is a workflow which was created based on that. Okay, so what I do is, so this I'll quickly go through how I create this on a quickly on a basic steps. So you don't have to then we can just look at this workflow and arrive at it. So this is how you create a task. So I was in the orchestration page and give for the demo multi-site, and you can choose which folder you want to it wants to be. So this is like all the feature it has based on the customer need. They can just expand and the feature they support. Okay, so if you look at it now, this is a screen, or this is a workbench where you can work with all the tasks. Okay, which task you need, what you need, and how you want to provide the task, and you can use a previous task and what output you want for the next task to provide, where you don't know how to recreate all that. Okay, so this is mostly, most of the customers will be working on this plane, where it supports most of the task and different types of connected it supports. Okay, now let's do a basic thing about let a basic thing about creating. We don't have to do everything. Like try a create tenant and create schema. Okay, once I show you, then I'll just show you this task, how this has been organized. We just trigger it and see how it is created on the multi-site. We can do a verification. Okay, now we can search for tenant. So where you see the task is tenant, so you have even Epic supports a lot to create Epic tenant as well. You have separate set of tasks for that as well. Now this is for the ACI multi-site, where you used to do a create task. Now consider you can give a task like create multi-site tenant. Okay, so you can just copy this and provide it on the comments as well. And account, this and all has been given as an admin input, or we can give as a task input as well in the next page. Okay, now consider you have multiple tasks where you want to give this account name in all the tasks, so you don't have to test manually here. So if you create a input here, okay, if you user input, so you can just create an input and you can map to all the tasks. So it's that easy how it is. Okay, so consider I'm creating this is a multi-site account. Okay, this will be automatically populated because based on the identity. Okay, so everything has an identity. So if you have multiple tasks, based on the identity, the corresponding input will be chosen. Okay, and you can choose site which one, or you can give as admin input as well. I'll just show you up when you run this task. Okay, so the display name is demos tenant simple. Okay, so I want what site to be associated. I was having two sites, so I choose a San Jose site to associate. Okay, so I don't have to worry about it. If you want to give a secure domain, and then you can choose based on your need. Okay, so now this create ACI multi-site is done. So now what I'll do a create schema. So you have a task for schema. Okay, now consider this needs a account name schema. It has to be added. It has to know which account, multi-site account, it has to be added. So when you just, it's already created, so we give an admin input. So you see this automatically comes up here. So you don't have to create every time. Go to the next, if you go to the task input page, you just have to select every time. Okay, so see here, now this is not there, it's already added. Okay, so this is where the multi-site is added here, right? Consider you have a tenant, and you just have to add the template name. So since we know that we have created the tenant on the previous task, so here you have to select the tenant. Okay, so since this is a mandatory for adding that to schema, so we can just select this. So it shows up the tenant which was created on the previous task. Create multi-site tenant is what our previous task, which is giving the output, and we are consuming it here. Okay, and you can just give the schema name. Simple. Demo template simple. Okay, so just have to, this all like a design, so just have to validate this, make sure there's no error, and you can just run. See, now when you run it, there was admin input where we gave, so it's asking which multi-site account I have to do it, right? You can create a duplicate window as well. So this is what is about showing up. is creating the multi-site tenant, and it is creating the schema. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so right now if you go here, okay, see the demo schema simple what we created is created here. So this is a schema, and you see the tenant here what we mapped it, this tenant, right? So this map, so how it is. So now consider, now I'm done with my thing, so I just want to roll back. So what I do is I just close this and go to the organization service request, where you can see the log of the executed runs. Okay, so this is what we have run, what you see it here, create ACI multi site, and you can the log, you can see what is it done. So it has chosen which multi-site and what is the display name for that, and what is the associated sites. This is a site which has been associated, and we have done the create schema and it was completed. Okay, now consider this is done, so we don't need this object anymore. So what you can do is you can select it, okay, and you can do via rollback request. Okay, so whatever the task we have created, create schema, it will be rolled back. Okay, this is a rollback task. So this is like the delete schema and delete tenant. So if you go to the multi-site, let's switch over. See, the schema is gone. Now comes the tenant. Now tenant is gone. So only we had 3, right now we have only 2. Okay, so this is how easy it is. So right now we'll just look out some of the tasks which we have use case, which are basic use case which we have achieved. Okay, so by using this. Okay, so here what we are doing is most like as like Epic. Okay, so we have so we have two EPGs, where one is like a web and app EPG. Okay, and web has to consume some services from the app. So app is providing your service to the web. Okay, so it is a contract is created where app is a provider and the web is a consumer. Okay, that is our ultimate aim. So before that, what prerequisites we have to do is like in multi-site we used to create a tenant. Okay, and we associate the tenant to the site, right? So we create a schema and we add a template to the schema, and we add a so then we what we do is what of the tenant we created, what we saw here, we will be attaching to the schema here, and we create a VRF. Okay, L3, and next we go to the L2 boundary, where we create the web BD, and we create a web BD and the app BD, and we add a subnet to the BD, because one is the L2 stretch. Okay, and another is not, it's not the L2 stretch. And next what we do is, next is the add contract to the template, then we add filter to the contract. Next comes the create application profile. Okay, and next is the add web PPG and add app PPG. Then we add a contract to the app PPG as a provider, and next is we add contract to the web PPG as a consumer. Okay, then what we do is we associate this template to the site, and then we deploy template to the sites. Okay, so this is just about it. So we'll just look at how we have just created onto the UCS director here. So if you go to the workflow screen, okay, so because that based on the number of object available, it takes time to load up. So this is a basic use case. Okay, so we'll just look at it. Create tenant, create schema, we are doing adding a VRF to the template, then we are adding a web BD to the template, and we are adding next to the app BD to the template, then we're adding a subnet to the web BD, and we are adding a contract, then we are adding the filter. Next is the application profile related objects, then we are adding the EPG web and app, and we are adding contract to the app PPG in order that is a provider, and we are adding a contract to the web PPG, then we are associating template to the site and deploying template to the sites. Okay, so if you want, now for example, I just execute this and show you what are the inputs it asks for. So this all are the input I created, user input. Okay, so you can select the multi-site account here, and here I've asked for which site to associate all this, because it's all the all request pops up because based on the object we created. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you the current what input I have been used for. We'll see the user input. So it asks for the ACI multi-site, right? So just quickly go through the acquisition here. So you can just have a quick look at what are the inputs has been created on this. Okay, so this task, create task, has two inputs. One is select the multi-site account as well as the tenant name. Okay, what has to be provided at runtime, plus the associated site what user wants to associate. Okay, each user can have associated different sites, so you can just do the task input to the next page and hard code it. Okay, this is like the pop-up where user can choose based on his request. Okay, so if you look at it, so just explain you comparing to the other windows will be easy for us. So if you look at it, so if you execute this, so okay, so select ACI multi-site. So this is a pop-up which asks for it based on the user input. Okay, and next is the display name. So this is what I have given when you create a tenant name, and you can user can provide it. Okay, so based on the other input is you can just work on around when we keep on working on UCS Director as well. Okay, so right, me just execute and show you how easy it is to do. Sorry. So we selected the multi-site, tenant name, tenant one. Okay, I'm selecting the site. I want San Jose to be in. Then schema name, schema one, and select site to associate. So I want the same site to be associated as well. Okay, so I provided all the input. I just submit. Okay, you can see the show detailed status here as well. Okay, so create tenant, you can see all when it keeps creating, you can see all here. So you can create the schema. So demo schema one is what we provided. Okay, so this is already associated to the tenant. Now it's almost crossed the BD, all that. It's done with all VRF, BD, all that. So you can just do a refresh and check. Okay, so it has created contract VRF, it has created two BDs. Okay, and he has added a subnet to the BD. Okay, then you can see the other BD is not able to stretch. So okay, then let's see where is it. So it is in add contract to EPG. Okay, so it's already associated a site. Let's see where is it. So it is done, it's completed. So let's refresh and see where. Okay, so this is what about. So what we did was first we created a tenant which was created here, demo tenant one, and we created a schema, and this is a schema name, and this is associated to this tenant what we created. And next what we did was we created a VRF, we created two BD, and one of the BD we added a subnet. And next is what we did was we created a contract. Okay, and we created a filter, but we didn't, there is a task which you can still add a filter to the contract, but we didn't use that task here. And next is the add application profile what we created here. This all the user input I given it. It can also be a pop-up input, like user can, you can run what time you want, because most of the thing whatever provided was the task input. And if based on the requests you can give as a user input as well. Okay, so we created two EPGs. One is a web which is attached to the web BD, and the app is attached to the app BD. Okay, so if we say this contract, so the contract has been added on the same thing, so we have to choose which contract to be added on the right one. Okay, so this is about the quick one, how well you can utilize this. So the same one can be applicable for the rollback as well. So if you go to organization service request, so once you are done with all the configuration, or the, because this is assigned to each business units or something like that. So once you're done with, you don't have to consume this, so you just have to go to the UCS Director, select the SR, and do the rollback request. So whatever we created, everything, it will be rolled back on no time. Okay, so This is a rollback thing what I have triggered right now. So which will trigger, will just do all the rollback things starting from how we executed, goes back to the undeployed template from the site, dissociate template from the site, all this will go through. Okay. Okay, this is just a quick view about the Cisco UCS Director, which provides support for the Cisco ACI Multi Site. More information can be find on the Cisco side, where you can go to Cisco UCS Director, and you have pretty a lot of document what benefit it brings to the market. Cisco to Cisco ACI Multi Site. Okay, thanks for watching. Please, any comments, let me know. Thanks. Bye.